Hello everyone, this is Nick in London. We've been working at home for the past week and due to the coronavirus. So if you are also living in the affected area, just make sure you stay at home, practice social distancing, and stay positive. And hopefully, this podcast can help you with that. So this week, Jasper is unavailable to do an episode with us. So I'm going to reuse one of the old episodes that we recorded last summer, which is also a relevant topic for this time of the year. And so have a listen and let us know how you think, and we can probably do a follow up episode at some point as well. So yeah, have a listen. We will come back next week with a new episode. Welcome to the Compile Podcast. This is a show where two programmers talk about anything and everything. My name is Nick Wu, and I'm the host of this podcast. This week we have a topic sort of extending from last week's episode with John, and it's about working out and productivity. So joining me today is my new friend, well, not my new friend, but one of my oldest friends, and Yuekun, and
New guest, yeah.
a new guest of the show. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Okay, hi guys. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Nick. It's a pleasure to be on the Compile podcast. I've been probably one of the oldest subscribers to your channel. I listened all the way from pilots all the way up to now. And yeah, as Nick mentioned, we know each other for like 7 years now.
Yeah.
So we know each other from high school in Beijing.
Yeah.
And we moved to England at the same time for universities. So I'm currently doing a master's degree in sport business at Loughborough University in London. And today we're going to talk about working out and productivity because, well, both of us love to work out.
Yeah.
And we do it almost like a religion, right?
You're the person that got me into start doing weight training.
And you're welcome.
Cool. We've had this episode. I've had this episode with John that we talked a little bit about this, and I want to sort of piggyback back to where we discussed on some of the mindsets about working out, and from your perspective, have you noticed any sort of problems, any sort of challenges from people who do not work out?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the most obvious thing that sort of acts as a challenge in our daily lives is the modern kind of sedentary lifestyle, right? So you would definitely know, or all the audience in front of us would definitely know that, if you're working as a programmer or in any sort of professional job, you'd be sitting on your ass most of the time during the day. And that pose a large problem to your to your spine, to your shoulder, and then with programming, when you're using the keyboard a lot, it has a lot of problem with your wrist and your fingers too.
Yes.
So you tend to have chronic pain. You tend to have a lot of injuries that basically came from not being active enough.
Yes. That actually is a true point. Personally, I have dealt with shoulder pain from work for a while now, and it's gotten to a point where it's not really. I have to see shoes to get it sorted, and fortunately, it did go away now. So yeah, I'm fine. Also, apart from your body, there's also mental stress that would come from work. From a lot of my colleagues and people I've met from in this industry, there's a very constant struggle of being stuck at work, and what happens is you build up this mental stress, and there was not really a valve for you to release it. And what ends up happening is you become depressed, and it kind of gets to you, and then also impacts your personal life and also your productivity. Wouldn't you agree on that bit?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like everyone's like a bottle, right? And then stress is like just hot water keep getting pouring into the bottle, and then every single bottle has a limit. It has a bottleneck where the water is gonna end up just pouring out. And if you don't have a hole at the bottom to like let it out a little bit, then obviously at some point it's gonna, it's gonna be flooded. It's gonna get flooded. So for sure. And also I would say one of the biggest benefits I've gotten for working out for like 5 years now is that discipline has definitely been instilled in my mind. And I feel like, a lot of people that doesn't work out tend to have this mindset where they just want to take the easy way out. I'm not sure if that's a stereotypical thing that I have against these guys that doesn't really do this, but I feel like, it could be a real thing where if you don't have discipline, then you have problem dealing with like time management.
Yeah.
You don't have goals. You don't really try to work hard enough. And then in essence, you just, you're stuck in a rut where you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. I would say it's more prone to not having a good discipline on yourself. Not necessarily.
It's not like you definitely have that problem, but it's probably
exactly
more likely, huh?
Yeah. There's also other stuff I've noticed from talking to a few people. From like not working out, and sort of some people would have some body image issues, which sort of impacts their confidence, and on a higher level when some of your job involves public speaking or involves communication, you also have this baggage on you that says, oh, I'm not actually that confident. And
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, if you look in the mirror every day and you don't like that reflection or that person staring back at you, you're gonna be constantly feeling terrible, right? And I think that definitely resonates with me because I'm not gonna lie, I started working out in high school because I want to get attention from girls. So, and it turns out it's not because I look better so then they like me more, but it's because I became more confident about myself.
Yeah.
And then I started acting in a different way, and that kind of became more, that's a more attractive sort of attribute.
Yeah. That's all good, and I've definitely agreed on everything that we've just said. But I've also heard some counter arguments from other people, especially for people who started working full time. And one of the biggest counter argument for this is, I'm already working 9 to 5. I've spent 8 hours of my life, a third of my waking time on my job, and I'm already tired after that. And you cannot expect me to go to the gym and then be there for like an hour or two and continue working out and not get even more tired, which means that I'm gonna be like totally dead every single day. And
so it kind of is so these kind of people think it's counterintuitive for us to work out because it makes you even more tired, so you won't be able to even perform on the same level compared to when you're not working out. Yeah. Is that the argument that you're saying, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, I don't know. I feel like, just doing physical activities and really just taking care of your body and your health is like a really important investment in you, right? Right. So when you're working, some people are lucky enough. Some people like you are lucky enough to find something they love, and they're doing it for their whole life because they're working for themselves. Right. And they get a lot of pleasure from that, and that's great. But, I don't think everyone's that lucky. And when you're stuck in a 9 to 5 job where you don't necessarily love, I would say, I would assume you want to do something every day just for yourself to make your life better in a way. Yeah. And I think that's something that, going to the gym and just getting yourself, releasing your stress and, expending your energy is a good way to do it. And it's because it has both mental and physical benefits.
Yeah. And this you will know very well because this is literally what you study. And why why don't you give us a little bit of an overview of sort of what general health benefits that can get from working out or doing exercises.
Right. Well, first of all, I think it's super important to spend some time away from work every day and really just do something else. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical exercise, but since we're talking about physical exercise, I feel like the most obvious physical benefits would be it helps you to, especially when it comes to weight training, which is what we do. It definitely helps you to increase your muscle mass.
Right.
And it also helps you to build up your cardiovascular capacities. And these things are very essential just for like general well-being, you know, just for being a healthy human being.
Yeah.
And also just higher muscle mass equals higher metabolism because your muscles spend more energy compared to the same amount of fat that's stored in your body.
Okay.
So what that means is it gives you higher metabolism, so it becomes harder for you to actually gain weight. So you can eat the same amount of food every day, but just by doing that little bit more training, just by doing that little bit more exercise, it makes it so much harder for you to gain weight that you actually have a way lower risk of becoming obese. And we all know that, you know, if you're living in London and you go into the underground trains, you'll see that a new advert that says obesity is also a cause of cancer.
Oh yeah, this is a new ad that's popped up in tube stations.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. I love the fact that people are finally talking about obesity. It's because it's just such a huge issue and it's so obvious. So, you know, with lesser risk of obesity, then, well, what's one of the worst things you can expect in life is obviously cancer, right? And just getting rid of that is just so great.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. I actually, this is literally sort of my experience because in high school, I think you've met me at my probably the most overweight I've ever been.
Yeah, back in your heydays.
Yeah. Yeah. So then there was this point where we have just moved to a new city and it was hard for me to keep track of everything. And I was 17. I didn't know what's
back then you were athletic though. You were so good at badminton. It's just
it's slightly different though. Like you can be. I've been playing for a while, so that's why I'm good at it. But if you ask me to do like general health assessment, for example, like running 5K or something, I wouldn't want to do that at that point of my life. And then you came in and you started talking about getting to the gym and start doing weight exercises, weight training, and also cardio exercises. And I was very fortunate to have you and to sort of guide me through all of this because there's a lot of information out, and we sort of stick to the basics. And I think after the first year of uni, I was sort of like more on a healthier scale, and now I'm sort of. I've regressed a little bit since I started working because of all the sitting down
but you still are in much better shape compared to before.
Yeah. So that was the point, right? So you know, getting at that point, being overweight is not something that you know it's not a good experience.
No, it's not great.
Yeah. So getting rid of that because I had the chance to learn to work out is definitely something that you know it was super lucky for me. And also just coming back to more relevant points for our developer friends. So all of the issues that I've seen from sitting down and coding, issues with your back, with your wrist, and the shoulders, these are this can be abated by like general working out. And can you explain to me how that works?
So I think is so people in sort of when you first start working out, chances are your personal trainer is going to tell you, oh, there's 3 bread and butter movements for anyone who's doing weight exercises, and that's the bench press, the deadlift, and squats. So deadlifting and squatting, they're like so important in terms of your overall strength and also your overall spinal health, because both of these exercises require your back and your entire posterior chain, so that includes from all the way up to your neck all the way down to your butt, to be very, very strong and very much engaged in order to perform these movements.
Yeah, you gotta be stable.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be stable. You have to be able to stabilize your body in order to go through these movements. And just by stabilizing, just by engaging your entire posterior chain, you're essentially strengthening all these tiny muscle fibers in your back. and your glutes and just all of these things, they're essentially holding your spine together, right? So you have a stronger group of muscle in your back,
right,
which helps you to tighten your core and tighten your spine together. When you're sitting down, you have less of a chance to develop these kind of back problems or shoulder problems, because your muscles are more likely to be, or easier for you to engage them. So then they're protecting your back from being injured, from being in a very dangerous position. So in that sense, it's almost counteracting the effects of our current sedentary lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think just by starting working out myself, I've realized how important it is to maintain my back or maintain my spine in a very healthy position. So then whenever I became more aware of when I'm not having good posture.
Right.
So when I'm sitting down and when I'm arching forward, I realize, okay, maybe that's too much. I just have this awareness of pulling myself back a little bit. I do some stretches in the chair, and then maybe every hour or maybe every 45 minutes, I know, okay, that's long enough for me to be sitting down, and I need to get up and maybe walk around, do some stretches, kind of loosen my neck a little bit and really just relax.
Yeah, definitely. This is something that I would encourage every developer to adopt to, because of the fact that some of us tackle very difficult technical issues that you sort of spend too much thinking about the problem, and you lose track of time. And this literally happened to me as well. This March, I had a very serious back injury because we had a serious bug that day. I spent 10 hours sitting, not moving, and trying to debug it. And we were able to finally fix it. Okay. But what happened the very next day is I woke up not being able to sit up, and I cannot get out of bed basically. So I had to take a week off, and go to see a chiropractor, get everything sorted. It was a mess. And after that, and after talking to the chiropractor, doctors, and a couple of other friends, this sort of raised my awareness to be more careful. Be more careful with how I sit. I'm gonna adjust to that as I speak. So definitely this is something, almost like knowledge that you can gain from working out, that sort of expands to benefit yourself, benefit your health, sort of throughout your life.
Yeah, I think just by knowing those things, you just start to pay more attention to these details, and actually when they add up, they make such a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. And also, from my personal experience, apart from all these good things that you almost definitely will get from your physical side, there's also mental benefits from working out. And I'm gonna give I'm gonna give a little bit of a story here. Yeah, so we had this other time we had a very difficult bug. It's kind of what happens in life.
You guys tend to have a lot of bugs.
I do. Okay. Yeah. Not everybody, just me maybe. So we had a problem with some of our systems, and I had to figure out what's wrong essentially. I couldn't figure it out. It was difficult. It was weird, and I couldn't even reproduce it. I cannot get it to reappear for me to see what's happening. So I don't even understand how the problem appeared. Right. So a day went by, and I was miserable, and it was just not a good day. And I was at 5:30. I was this is it for me.
Your mind is kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I cannot fix this today. So what I decided to do is, let me go downstairs to the gym, and I'll lift some weights. I'll do some row machines, and just sort of unwind from work. And as I was doing, I was on the row machine, just doing my normal routine, and I accidentally realized what happened. Was sort of a difficult, a very subtle hidden like side effect from a different change that was made like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't manifest because it was wrong, but it wasn't totally wrong. So it sort of accumulated errors and sort of burst, and then it bursted in 2
And these events are like so far away. So.
Yeah, and then it bursted in 2 weeks, and that's why I figured it out. But the point of this story is I didn't figure it out because I was sitting at my desk thinking about it hard. I did it because I figured it out because I was at work, but my mind was processing on the back end,
Right.
on the background. And this actually I went out to read a little bit about it afterwards. It's because when you are concentrating on thinking something, compared to you are putting something at the back of your mind and doing something else, different parts of your brain gets activated. And so the part that gets activated where you're actually concentrating on is more analytical. So it's more disciplined, it's more analytical, it thinks about logic. Whereas the sort of subconscious part of your brain is more creative, focus a lot on connections and hidden stuff. So basically, by working out, you sort of unwind from work and then use a different part of your brain to solve the problem, which sometimes works a lot better than trying to like mentally crack it, right? So that was something that I definitely felt I want to raise to our audience today. And and another thing for me was since I've started working out, I've had routines that I have broken, but I ended up sticking to one that works for me, and I was able to keep it for almost a year now. And throughout this process, it sort of gave me a little bit of a lesson on respecting your time management and building habits. And you mentioned something about discipline. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, of course. I definitely want to talk about discipline because I feel like it's like you said, routine. This is such an important thing. It's funny because there's this guy I met this year at my university, and every single time we have a great relationship, by the way, just to get out there. But we also tend to disagree on a lot of things.
I think I know who this is, but go on.
No. It's not that person. It's
okay.
not who you're thinking about. I'm not gonna point any fingers. I'm not mentioning names. Just saying this guy. Okay. We're good friends, and he's this type of guy that's just like unorganized. He's very sort of he's a free flow kind of person.
Yeah, very spontaneous.
Very spontaneous. He sometimes has great ideas, but he knows me. Like everybody around me, almost always knows me as like almost a guy that lives in the military. Because I have this routine where I have to wake up every day at 5 a.m. Almost get out of the house at 6, go to the gym as soon as it opens, and then get my workout done. And by the time it's like 8 or 9, I'm ready to work.
Yeah.
But the downside of it is that because I need to get up so early. I need to go to sleep so early too. So every night around like maybe 9 or 10 o'clock, if you try to send me a message, chances are you're not going to get a reply. It's I'll see you tomorrow, that kind of thing. But it's good. It works for me. And I think it's very important that you develop these kind of routines because, for me, it's like when I wake up in the morning, I'm in autopilot. I don't think about anything. I know exactly what to do, I know exactly when I wake up, I need to go to the kitchen, fix myself up the breakfast. My breakfast is the same every single day too. I don't get bored of it, and it's very quick. It's just oats and berries. That's it.
Yeah.
Saves a lot of time, and then I don't have to think about it. I put on some kind of podcast. If you have a new episode, I'll put you on. But if you don't have a new episode, I tend to listen to like Joe Rogan or something else.
Put Joe Rogan in front of me, please. I don't want to make that sort of anime.
So, yeah, I just go about my day, and it's very very helpful because you end up saving so much energy, so then you can focus on what's really important during that day. And when I was in the gym, I'll be thinking about what's gonna happen today, and I'll have a game plan to kind of tackle. So then, when I'm done with my workout, out of the shower, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Like, game on, let's do it. So that's great. And that sort of, that kind of discipline, it makes you so much more driven.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as time goes on, because you're keeping up with your discipline, and you're always like, achieving the goals that you set yourself up for. So then you become so much more confident, and you're like, okay, if I want to do something, I know I can do it. And how do I know? I'll write it down, I'll make a plan, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
So that's just so important.
Yeah.
And definitely mentally, just it keeps you in that positive loop.
Mm-hmm.
You always have that positive state of mind where you're like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm always ready.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So basically, it's because you were able to develop and stick to your routine. From your workout, you sort of cultivated a healthy respect to building habits.
Yeah.
And when you are tackling something else in your life, you're more confident to know that I can do this.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know how to. I'm disciplined, and I know how to approach an issue like that.
Yeah, it's a transferable skill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people think, you're just going to the gym because you want to get a 6-pack when you go to the beach. No, like,
which you do. Like,
yeah, but like that's almost like that's like a side effect nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going there because it's a way, like you said, is time for me to think about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Just to unwind, and also it's a time where I just need to keep that in me. So then I'm staying in my discipline. I'm staying in my lane.
Yeah, that's good. And I mentioned this with John as well. It's sort of a point about being when you're working out, your mind is not really anywhere else, because the stuff you're doing, it's hard, it's heavy. You're just focusing on getting the weight to the place you want to be, and because of that, you become very present at the moment. And this is something that John mentioned as well, is working out, and during the process is almost like meditating. Yeah. Right? You are fully present on all of your feelings, all of your body senses, and then you have a particular goal in mind, and you're doing that. And also you're regulating your breath, which is something commonly done in meditation. And so if you think about it, it's literally almost just like meditation in a regard, right? Yeah. But you also reap all of the benefits that
exactly. So it's like 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah, exactly. So almost 6 stone. 6 birds, 6 stones. Yeah. Cool. So I hope this all of this discussion has helped you sort of change your views on working out and your productivity. But again, let's come back to a more practical side, where some of us have 9 to 5 jobs, and it's hard, right? Because you get up, you wake up, and you just get to work, and after 5 you're almost burnt out, and you get into the same arguments again, like, I'm tired, and like, I just want to go home and sleep. And so from your experience, or from your knowledge, do you think there's a particular time of day that would be the best to do workout, or to sort of squeeze, or to, like, where do I put this time in my normal day-to-day life?
Right. I think this is a very interesting question, because it's something I've experimented a lot with myself as well. So the routine I have now is that I wake up very early, and I get my workout in before I go to work or before I go to school. But I've used to try, working out in the middle of the day. Obviously, it's a much more compact kind of way of working out, because you only have like 1 hour lunch break. Yeah. And you're actually trying to get lunch after your workout too. Yeah. So you end up having this like very rushed kind of workout. I kind of enjoyed it for a while, but then I was like, maybe I want to be more sort of,
You don't want to be rushed.
Yeah, I don't like being rushed. Yeah. So I also tried like working out after work or after school, where, going into the evenings, but like you said, you have this energy issue where you're like, you're almost mentally burnt out. But the thing is, your body is always gonna be more ready than your mind. Yeah. So as long as you get your mind right, your body will be there. It will be able to deliver. Yep. So it's all about, motivating yourself. It's like, I tried many different ways to motivate myself. I've tried, self-talk. Like I talk to myself.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm about to go to the gym, I'm like, okay, need to get ready now.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much I've done or gone through during the day.
Yeah.
You know, I have to focus on this. I
Right.
want to do something. I need to have a good enough reason for me to get into the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes I just, have a little bit of caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
They have so many like pre-workout products out there where you take like one scoop and then you almost like, the adverts make you look like you're almost going into beast mode. You became like Hulk.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't recommend that.
But no. It's probably not great, honestly. Because it's just, there's so many chemicals in there, and then chances are it's probably not going to be too healthy for you. And also it disrupts your sleep after your workout.
Mm-hmm.
So my suggestion would be, there's no best time to actually implement the workout into your normal 9 to 5 schedule.
Yeah.
I would say the best time to implement it is the most enjoyable time for you.
Okay.
So you have to try. You have to constantly be trying. Like I've been working out for 5 years now, and I'm still learning new stuff every single day. Is that you have to be open-minded, and you have to be willing to experiment with your life and see what works and what doesn't. You're constantly learning about yourself, learning about your body. How does it work? And then by keeping an open mind, you become more in tune with your body in general.
Yeah.
And it's not just about working out anymore, like we said. It's about understanding your spinal health. It's about understanding everything. It's about understanding what kind of food you eat, or
Yeah, we might do another episode at some point about diet, because that's where I fall short most of the time. Yeah. So just going back to sort of timing for the workout. If you listen to last week's episode, me and John have different like totally different time slots. I do it in the morning as well. But it was very short. It was about like for 20-30 minutes, like a quick one. Then I do my major one, my bulk of my workout after work.
Right.
John's slightly different because his workout is not traditional in the sense of weightlifting. He does a lot of rock climbing, and that has to match where the rock climbing gym is open.
Right.
So he does it. He does his time mostly to match that, and also to match his own lifestyle, because he goes into work quite early, and then he leaves early to go to the gym. So it's all about understanding how your schedule is like, and trying to fit it in. And also you'll most likely see there are many places that you can put your workout, and it's the process of experimenting with this, and trying to figure out what's best for you. That's really important, and that's the really the answer. There's no like one, like there's no silver bullet that fits everything.
Yeah, and just going back to your point about you talked about how John prefers rock climbing, and obviously you're doing something that's also different from me, even though we're both doing weight training, right? So obviously some people would ask, like, is there any specific type of workout that's like most suitable for the general working population? There's so many different types of things. You can go to gym classes where they have like, I don't know, yoga, Pilates, like boxing, group boxing, kickboxing, that type of stuff. And then you have your everyday sort of just weight training. Yeah. And even in weight training, there's so many different disciplines.
Yeah, there's like
bodybuilding, powerlifting.
Yeah.
Right? And there's also like and there's also this other thing called CrossFit, which gets a lot of crap from bodybuilders and powerlifters, because people say, oh, CrossFit is like the perfect way of doing the wrong workout movements, because you're just messing up your body. But this is a big but, by the way. I just personally think, there's no specific type of workout that's like most suitable for everyone, or for everyone who's working. I just think the most suitable type of workout is the type of workout that you actually like. Is the type of workout that gets you going. Is the type of workout that gets you back into the gym tomorrow. Yep. And I think that's so important, because it doesn't matter what you do. As long as you're moving, you're so much more better off compared to those who are not moving.
Yeah. And it's basically, you can think of it as buying clothes. Basically, there's no clothes that's made for everybody,
Yeah.
and even if there were, it's made for everybody and no one in particular, right? So what you normally would do is you gotta try out, different kinds of clothes and see which one you like and which one fits you, and then after a lot of experimentation, hopefully not too much, then you settle down and say, oh, this is the one I like. This is what I do. This is what I wear from now. And it's the same for working out most likely. And you gotta experiment on different kinds of. I myself have done a bunch of stuff as well. I've gone through a phase where I did pure cardio and no weight training, pure weight training and no cardio, a mix of something, and then primarily badminton and then nothing else because at the time I was playing tournaments. So it depends a lot, right? You will change you'll change your preference like as time goes on. But what's important is you don't stop trying, and once you find something that you do like, try to stick with it, and at least for a while until something changed or you stop liking it, or even if you have to change it all the time, that's also fine. But as Yuekun said, it's better to be moving than otherwise.
Yeah,
right?
I think so, definitely. It's like, finding the best workout for you is like finding a girlfriend, right? You have to keep looking.
I wouldn't know about that, but yeah. Cool. I hope what we talked about today helps you realize that you maybe should start working out. And I understand we didn't give too much specifics in terms of advice or suggestions. If you want that, let me know, and I'm sure you're going to be happy to do another more practical session to discuss like some examples, and maybe give a few routines that beginners can follow, like he did for me. And I'll be able to contribute a little bit as well. And but the point of today's episode is to let you know that even if you are working or you are studying, trying to work out is good for you, both for work and also for yourself as a person.
Yes, it's so important. It's so important.
Yeah. Cool.
Remember, if you don't remember anything from this episode, just remember, obesity is also a cause of cancer. Pay attention to the ad when you go into the underground.
I don't know how many of our audience lives in the UK, and also it's London only, so so thanks very much for coming on to the show. It was a great time chatting with you, and actually this is the first time that I'm actually recording the podcast in the same room with somebody else. So
thank you for having me. This is really fun, actually.
Yeah,
we should do more of this.
Yeah, definitely. I was hoping to get you more, get you back on more often at some point. So cool. So that's this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, any thoughts, let me know online. You can always find it in the comment section, and either tweet at me. My tweet is always in the description as well. You can find our episode on YouTube, Google Play, and iTunes. If you cannot find it, let me know, and I will try to figure out what's happened. I have heard from a few people that says they cannot search for it, and I don't know what the issues are, and but I will definitely sort it out. So again, next week we'll have another episode with maybe you and maybe a new guest, and cool. So thank you very much for listening in, and I will see you very soon.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.